Goal setting. It's something seemingly straightforward, but also something people often go very wrong with. And many people actually even avoid setting goals because potentially they just fear not even achieving them like the year before. And the funny thing is that it's often those same people who set their goals and then don't even look at them again until the end of the year. And actually, the crazy thing is that 92% of people don't achieve their yearly goals. 92%. So then, you might ask, what do the 8% do that the 92% don't? Well, that's the goal of today's video, to show you how to set goals that you will actually achieve. So let's actually look at the foundation first, because before you even think about going out and achieving those goals and pursuing them, it's important to set a proper goal in the first place. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for failure. The reason I'm actually doing this is because recently I've been researching this topic, because I was just working on a big project where I was creating what is now called the Clarity Canvas, which I can link down below. And it's just made to actually align your goals with your vision and go after them and actually achieve them in a proper, tangible and practical way. So I'll just outline 5 things you should be aware of when you're setting your goals, or that you may consider being aware of, and that would probably be beneficial. Number 1, start with why. Why? Well, when being faced with adversity, you are often going to find yourself asking yourself a question. Why am I even doing this? Right? It's something that comes up often whenever you're doing something hard or you're faced with a challenge or a problem. And it's actually something I heard in one of David Goggins' books. I think it's his newer book, Never Finished. And whenever you're faced with this question, you're asking yourself, why am I even doing this? That's when you are at the biggest risk of failing, right? Because you already know that the only way to fail is to give up. So by asking yourself this question, why am I even doing this? You're not even putting yourself at the kind of risk of failure where you make a mistake. It's worse than that. And actually it's the only form of failure, which is to give up. Because when you give up, you no longer have the opportunity to make mistakes and to learn and then to go on and succeed, right? But when you start with why and you base your goals on your why, then you already have the answer to that question right away, right? You're not at this risk of failure because you know exactly why you're doing this and you know that you need to keep going. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." And this is why, exactly why, you need to start with why, your why. So when you're looking at your goals, you look at your big vision, your long-term vision, and you base your goals on your vision. This way you can actually ensure that your goals are meaningful to you and you're pursuing something that's actually important, and that's something you're not just going to give up at at any old obstacle, right? You're gonna keep going because you know it's something that's meaningful to you and important. So, number 1, start with why. Number 2, make it specific, measurable, and time-bound. Lose fat is a terrible goal to set yourself because it's completely intangible and just not measurable. How are you gonna know when you've achieved it? There's so many people who set themselves the goal for a New Year's resolution to go to the gym and just lose fat. But the reason most of those people give up after a few weeks is because of their self-image. They see themselves as someone who is fat and trying to lose fat. And if you want to be consistent and stay in the gym, instead of just tying your happiness to this outcome, you instead see yourself as someone who just goes to the gym, and losing fat comes as a byproduct of it. Now, although you shouldn't base your happiness on extrinsic outcomes like losing fat, obviously setting goals is a very good way to actually be able to measure your progress, right? And lose fat is a terrible goal, and you've just set yourself up to fail before you've even started. A better example would be, I will lose 3 kilograms of body fat by the end of June. This way, it's measurable, it's time-bound, specific, all these things. And this way you can actually create a proper plan. It's actionable. Because of the fact that it's tangible and specific and measurable, now it's actionable. You can create a plan. Maybe you have 3 months, whenever it is, well, let's say you're starting 3 months before March. Let's say, or at the end of March. Let's say you just, then, you have to lose 1 kilogram of body fat each month. Well, wonderful. Now you know how to measure your progress. Then you can go out and create a plan and then a system for the goal, which is something I'm going to be talking about in the next video, how to actually go after and achieve your goals once you've set them. But that's number 2. Make it specific, measurable, and time-bound. 3. Make them lofty. Now, the interesting thing is that you would actually think that setting yourself easier goals makes you more likely to achieve them, right? Well, actually, the opposite is true. Because when we set easy goals for ourselves, we just lack the arousal in our brain to get us to actually pursue the goal. I mean, naturally, whenever we are pursuing something meaningful, like a big goal, we should feel uncomfortable, right? It's outside of our zone of comfort that we actually grow. And we have to even shift our nervous system of states of discomfort and stress, eustress, to be able to grow. It's how we grow. And it's in these states of discomfort that then we can grow and learn something new. Because it's, once again, in those states of discomfort that then our brain experiences neuroplasticity, right? We are actually able to form new neurons because of that state. Otherwise, if you're not in any state of discomfort and you're just in your zone of comfort, you're not trying anything new, you're never going to evolve or develop or just change or grow. You need to be in that state of discomfort and just feeling that this goal is not something astronomical that, you could never achieve. But you do feel that it's kind of just stretching you, right? It just ever so slightly outside of your zone of comfort. It's going to be a big stretch to achieve the goal. It's probably going to be quite difficult and you're not even sure that you could definitely achieve it. But that's good. Because it's in setting those lofty goals that, once again, our brain experiences those shifts in neurochemicals where we go through neuroplasticity. So by setting yourself loftier goals, you are allowing for shifts in your neurochemical states, which literally allow you to change the firing of your neurons in the future, right? You're changing your brain's being changed. So that's number 3, make them lofty. 4, not 3, 4, the law of the few. So most people think that by setting themselves more goals, they're being more productive, right? I mean, of course, why not? Well, actually, no, the opposite is true. It's super counterproductive. And it's because we humans are just naturally wired to focus on one thing with excellence at once, or maybe very few at most. So to summarize this very well, I have a quote from this book up here, The 8th Habit, which I have here. And he said, suppose you have an 80% chance of achieving any particular goal with excellence. Add a second goal to that first goal, and research shows your chances of achieving both goals drop to 64%. Keep adding goals and the probability of achieving them plunges steeply. Juggle 5 goals at once, for example, and you only have a 33% chance of actually getting excellent results on all of them. So, as a rule of thumb, you can tie number 3 and number 4 together, right? Set less goals and make them loftier. Because this allows you then to focus on those fewer goals, those most important goals. Stephen Covey, in his book 8th Habit, calls them WIGs, wildly important goals. And you focus on those most important goals that align with your vision, are specific and measurable and time-bound, and there's few of them, and they're lofty. So that's number 4, the law of the few. Number 5, the law of accountability. Now, many people, when they set their goals or they just think about what they want to do or achieve and they intend to do, they love to share those things with the world, right? Share them with the world, why not? Either for accountability or to make themselves feel good, and well, it does make you feel good when you share your goals with people and you tell people what you intend to do. But that's the problem. When you tell people about your goals and what you intend to do, it evokes a release of dopamine in your brain, which is wonderful and all, but that then results in you being less likely to achieve your goals. And it's because on a micro level, that release of dopamine, it makes your brain feel like it's achieving those goals on a micro level once again. And that then, once again, in turn, makes you less likely to achieve those goals. So maybe don't do that. Maybe just consider not telling the world about your goals and what you intend to do. Well, you might say, telling the world is maybe bad and all because, people are often gonna give me positive reinforcement and then that makes me feel good and that's why it makes me less likely to achieve my goals. Well, then I'll just tell them to negative people who are not gonna give me positive reinforcement, are not gonna flatter me, and then, hey, that'll motivate me to prove them wrong. But once again, there's the issue in that. Because whenever you start focusing on proving someone else wrong to achieve your goals, then it's no longer something intrinsic that you want to do. You've changed the pursuit of the goal and the goal of the goal, the purpose of the goal, to prove someone else wrong. And that's just a terrible thing to do. Why would you base all your goals on wanting to prove people wrong, out of anger, out of resentment? Just focus on yourself and what you want deep down, not trying to prove other people wrong. Because yes, it's an option, right? But once again, it turns the pursuit of the goal into something negative. So don't do it. And number 5, that is the law of accountability. Do not tell the world what you intend to do. But there is a reversal to this law. Although doing that is bad because once again you turn the means of the goal into proving someone else wrong. The reversal to this is if you only get someone, so strictly, only if you get someone who will not give you any premature praise and will not puff you up, okay? They will act strictly just as a reminder for you to do those actions that you need to take, right? So it's someone who maybe gets you to wake up in the morning and go to the gym, but they're not going to be giving you premature praise and just puffing you up, right? You're doing wonderful. I mean, we do need some praise here and there sometimes, right? But too much of it just gets you complacent, okay? So try to avoid those things. So, to sum things up, whenever you're setting your goals, start with why and base them on your vision to make sure they're meaningful to you. Make them specific, measurable, and time-bound to ensure they're actually actionable and you can measure your pursuit of the goal and your progress. 3, make them lofty, okay? 4, set few of them. And 5, don't tell the world about them. That's all. I hope you go after it. You set meaningful goals to you. And next video, I'll speak about how to actually pursue those goals and set up a system that makes sure you do achieve them. So, with that, go out and do incredible things as always, and be mega. Ciao.